Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with the City of Hampton's Communications and Marketing Department. And today we're going to talk with one of our nonprofit partner agencies, the Red Cross, and specifically this time Blood Services. My guest is Kristen Hatfield. Welcome, Kristen.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I have to tell you, I have been given blood since I was old enough. For me,
Yay!
It is an opportunity to lie down for 20 minutes in the middle of the day, which I don't get any other time. So that is how I look on it. But I know a lot of people are maybe not comfortable or even a little afraid. So first of all, let's start with talking about why it's important, because that's one of the motivating factors. It's, you know, you're not giving money, you're not giving time. Well, it is a little bit of time, but it is a gift. You know, you can't, people need it. So explain to me what happens with the pint of blood that I gave in November.
It's really important to donate blood because there is no substitute for human blood, and every 2 seconds someone in the United States needs blood, and 97% of us will either need blood or know someone who needs blood. So you know, very few times in your life do you have that opportunity, I think, to run into a burning building or rescue that cat from the tree. But by donating blood, you can be a hero and help someone that you've never met and help save a life. And what better way to spend the day, I think, than to do that. But that one pint of blood that you donate can go to, a lot of times people think trauma victims, and that's all they think that blood goes to.
See, I always think surgery. I don't know why.
Yes, surgery is a good example. My father had knee replacement surgery, and a few days later he needed blood, and he's been a lifelong blood donor. But premature infants are born with about a cup of blood, and a lot of times they require a lot of testing, so they need to replenish that blood. So premature infants, cancer and leukemia, a lot of times when you meet people who are suffering from cancer or leukemia, they often need some type of blood product, whether it's whole blood, red blood cells, or platelets or plasma. You know, routine surgeries, people suffering from sickle cell anemia often need, or other rare forms of anemia, needs ongoing transfusion.
They need healthy blood.
Yes, yes, and it kind of cycles out, and I've been told by different people who've had sickle cell anemia or have sickle cell anemia that it's like they're the Energizer bunny after they have that blood transfusion. And actually,
I've known that with chemo patients too.
Yes, yeah. It rejuvenates them. And I know of a girl that lives in our region that every 3 weeks, she has a rare form of anemia. Every 3 weeks, she needs a blood transfusion.
Oh my gosh!
So we couldn't help save these lives and help these patients in our area without the kindness and generosity of our local blood donors.
Okay, so that's one of the reasons. You know, it's a motivating factor. You think, it's kind of no skin off my nose. I mean, how many pints do I have?
You have 10 to 12, the average adult has 10 to 12 units or 10 to 12 pints of blood in your body.
So I can give one and it regenerates.
Yes.
I mean, I will make new blood. How quickly?
You will replenish your fluids within 24 hours, and it's safe for your body to give again in 56 days. So
that's pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
I don't do it quite that aggressively. Okay, so helping people, you know, it's a huge motivating factor. But suppose I've never given blood before and I'm nervous about it. Can you kind of walk me through what will happen?
Yes. Don't be nervous. I think people a lot of times will tell me that just the thought of it, not knowing, makes them really nervous, and then
people are afraid of what they don't know.
Exactly, and that makes them anxious. And then afterwards, they'll tell me, you know, piece of cake. I can't believe I was nervous about that. But basically, you're going to come in, you're going to sign in and register. We're going to do a mini health history. We're going to take your temperature, your blood pressure, your iron level. Then we're going to move on to the actual blood donation process with the needle in your arm, and it's only about 6 to 10 minutes for that part. And then we wrap up in my favorite part, which is canteen, where you're going to have some water and some delicious Keebler cookies. Oh, they're so good. And then you're done. So generally speaking, it takes approximately an hour from start to finish. Okay,
so it doesn't sound that hard. Why don't more people do it?
There are two reasons that people tell us they don't donate blood. One, they haven't been asked, and I'm asking everyone watching, come out, bring a friend. And two, they're afraid of needles. And it's very normal to be afraid of needles, I think. And Red Cross staff, they do this every single day. We collect every single day of the year, 7 days a week, with the exception of 3 major holidays. So our staff is collecting blood every day. They go through intense training to do this. And again, it's 6 to 10 minutes with the needle in your arm. They are experts, and it's done before you know it. And you just, anytime, I think can relate to this, that anytime you donate blood, like you feel like a hero. You feel that cape growing. You feel like today I made a difference. Today I did something different.
It is. It's like a little bit the way you feel with the United Way. You know, you give, you know, you're helping the community. But again, giving blood is something special because you can't buy that. I mean, you can't make it, you can't manufacture it. It can only come if enough people agree to donate.
Absolutely. And I often say, like, if people are having a blue day where you're kind of feeling down, come out and donate blood. You know, when you do something, it's so true, for someone else, you feel incredible. Like, you make a difference today. Again, I can't stress that enough. Like, today you can make a difference. You can help someone that you've never met and help save a life. I mean, what an amazing opportunity.
And I will say, I always find it to be kind of a fun and upbeat experience because everybody there is doing the same thing and they're there for the same motivation and they're in a good mood. Like, you might be trapped with people in line at a store and they're cranky because they don't want to be there. But here, you're trapped with people and they're all feeling great about what they're doing, and you chat with them and the time goes by so quickly.
It does go by really fast, and you're right. I mean, you're in a group of do-gooders like yourself and trying to make a difference for someone else, and they're incredible. And we call our donors all the time heroes because that's what you are and what all of our donors are.
Now, I will say, the easier it is for me, the more likely I am to do it. And one, you know, I work at City Hall, and one of the things we do as a city is to sponsor blood drives periodically. And we have one coming up, and we'll put the dates up later. But the more you come to me, you know, the easier it is. So one of the things you said is people aren't asked. How do we ask more people, or how do we make them go find out where and when the Bloodmobile is?
You make a good point, because in order for, I think, people, we're busy today.
Oh, my gosh. You come to my workplace, though, when I'm there. I did that for 30 years at the Daily Press, and I do it now at City Hall. It's you know, it's so easy.
It is easy. And we have a lot of great employers in Hampton Roads, so it's a great time to ask them, hey, can I leave to go donate blood? And we have 10 to 20 blood drives every single day in the Mid-Atlantic region, which is what our region encompasses. So you're bound to find one near your work, your school, your church, your home. And I mean, it's just, we do have blood drives out there all the time. So if you go to redcrossblood.org, you can find all those blood drives. You can even make an appointment. We'll make it even easier. You can make an appointment, just like, your hair or your dentist appointment, and schedule it in. And again, it's just, we try to make it so that there's one close to everyone. And
I just recently do that for the City Hall one, because if you do make an appointment and make that commitment, you get to skip the line. You get, you get to move through a little faster, which is important usually, if you're busy. But if you don't know your timing, also, it's very much a very fluid drop in and get in line. It's easy.
We try to, manage the flow and keep it moving. So that's good to hear.
Yeah. And, I will say to people, and you give blood, right? Does it hurt?
No.
I mean, there's a little prick, which sometimes you don't notice as much if you're not looking. I like to look. I know that's like a little weird. Oh, yeah, I totally do. It's kind of cool. I like to look at the bag and see how much it's filling up. I mean,
I haven't gotten to that part yet,
but
But you can, if you're someone, I don't like to look, but I will talk to them. Or if you're nervous, you can say, just talk to me while I'm doing this. Bring a book, bring something to read. It's just you're not the first person to go in and say, I'm nervous or I don't like needles. They'll talk to you. They're used to having people say this, and it's over before you even know it.
Now, there are some people who can't give blood. And, I think sometimes people don't know if they're in that group or not. How can they find out, or what are some typical things that you see around here for people who can't give blood?
If you're in question at all and you're watching and you think like, oh, I was deferred 10 years ago or 5 years ago for donating blood, I would encourage you to call the 1-800-RED CROSS phone number. Again, 1-800-RED-CROSS. And you can find out if you're still ineligible to give blood. For example, we used to have a deferral on if you've had a tattoo or a piercing. And now it's changed so that if you've had a tattoo or a piercing in a licensed facility in the state of Virginia or North Carolina, there is no deferral. So you can donate right away. But people it's still kind of a misconception that people just assume that they can't. So, or if you're questioning like, hey, I traveled in a place that might defer me, again, call the 1-800-RED CROSS and find out if you are deferred. So, generally speaking, if you're you're over 17 years of age and generally good health, weigh at least 110 pounds, you're probably a good candidate to donate blood. For our 16 to 18-year-olds, and they're great blood donors, we have certain height and weight restrictions for them just to make it, we want to make it the healthiest and safest for everyone.
I will say too, that is how I got into giving blood in the first place. Is it was through the high school.
Yep.
You get out of class and that is a huge incentive. And then if you do it that one time, you think, oh, this isn't so bad. I can do this again.
Just do it once and you'll see how easy it is. And I too donated for the first time in high school. It was sort of a rite of passage.
It is.
Back then the age was 17. Now it's 16 with parental consent. But it was like I got my license, I donated blood, got to vote. So it's one great thing that you can do at an early age.
That's wonderful. I was going to ask, given the military here, and first of all, they're very eager people who understand community service and understand giving, but they also spend a tremendous amount of time often outside the country and in some places maybe that are on the deferral list. Do we have a problem here because so many military people have lived, in places that don't have the same medical standards or that have diseases that we don't necessarily have?
The military does collect their own, they also collect their own blood on site. So we do know that we have military that come out and donate our blood drives, but I'm not sure if we have more deferrals because of that or not, but I do know that there are certain places that they definitely go to and that may cause them to be deferred. So again, if you're interested in donating and you're curious about deferrals, the 1-800 Red Cross, they can clear it up so that you don't even have to come out and find out that you're deferred. You can call, or again,
and that's good because then you don't have to wait in line, or you could go up and ask right there at the blood drive.
Yes, absolutely.
But I always sort of feel like there are so many people maybe who can't give blood that those of us who can have that particular responsibility.
Actually, less than 5% of those who actually can donate blood come out. So there are so many people that can donate blood, but a lot of times they'll self-defer and they might say, oh, I had a low iron level. Well, your iron level changes every day.
I know, I had a low iron level once.
Oh, you did?
On all my years. And, they told me to try again later.
Yes, and we'll tell you, come back in a few days. They'll give you a time frame. And, I tell people if you're thinking about donating blood, stock up on your green leafy vegetables, nuts, raisins, lean cuts of meat. But yes, like I said, the criteria has changed so much. Like the tattoos. Again, if you're
you can't defer. I mean, all the tattooed people you would run out of.
And they're used to needles.
Folks. Yeah, right. They're less afraid of needles.
Yeah, so they should come on out.
Are there particular times of the year or things that you want to draw attention to where it's harder to get people out, or maybe they're busy, or maybe there's just a greater need?
Anytime that the winter months are a challenging time, the summer months are a challenging time, or anytime near a holiday. So if you have a certain time of year where people are, vacationing or the routine changes, that affects the blood supply. So you
have as much need during those times, but people aren't giving, and blood doesn't have a real long shelf life, right?
No, it has a shelf life of 42 days, and you can actually donate blood every 56 days. And a lot of times people think that they're regular donors, like, oh, I donated last year, but you can actually donate 6 times a year. Every 56 days you can donate blood. And it's important if you're blood type O negative is approximately 7% of the population, and it is the only blood type that can, in an emergency situation where there's not enough time to cross-match someone's blood type, they can be given O negative. We can all receive O negative.
So that's what's called universal.
Yes.
And you need that in particular for those emergency situations. Like someone's in a car accident, and you don't have time to type their blood. You know that you can give
Everyone
them that.
can take it. Universal.
Okay, that's not
hero.
me.
Yeah, I wish I were O negative. And it's such a small percentage, only approximately 7% of the population. And O positive is also unique that O positive can go to anyone of a positive blood type. So they can go to A positive, AB positive, B positive, and O positive. So those are universal donors. So I always encourage people, if you're blood type O, it's always in demand. And bring a family member with you, because like hair color, eye color, chances are if you're blood type O, someone else in your family is. So, O is very important, and it's always in demand. So we want to see all our O negative donors come out every 56 days. And if you don't know your blood type, that's okay. Come on out.
You'll tell us,
yeah,
right?
Several weeks later in the mail, you'll get your blood donor card, and it will have your blood type on it.
And you guys keep all this in the computer now. I mean, this is different from when I was first giving blood, and you had the little card, and they'd write it on the little card when you gave blood. Because I have no record of how many times I've given, except since you've been on the computerized system. But it's very nice. You also check my blood pressure, and that's really, except for my once a year physical, I get my blood pressure checked, and I do write that, try to remember to write that down on my card. So it's not like a health screen, but it is, a way to check
physical, we call it. Yes,
sure. I see if my
absolutely.
iron's okay. I check my blood pressure.
Temperature.
So I get something from it too.
Yes, you definitely do. And again, you just feel amazing after you do it. So
why do you do it? How did you get involved? And I mean, I feel from you this very personal commitment.
Well, I don't have, many people at the Red Cross do have personal stories where they've had premature infants and have needed blood. I just, I started donating blood at 17, and like you, when the opportunity, I'd be somewhere and, I'll donate blood. And I've just always wanted to work for nonprofit, and I had worked on some projects with the Red Cross, and then an opportunity presented itself to work there, and it's been 7 years, and I love it. So it's a great place. I love our mission. It's very important.
Well, that's great. And I think, talking with you is inspiring, and I hope it'll inspire some of the folks out there, because it's obvious you are so enthused about it, and you make it sound easy, and I'll tell you, it is easy. It really is. Unless you have some sort of problem where you're hard to stick, it's like I get to lie down for a while in the middle of the day, and you're a working mom. We don't get that opportunity a whole lot.
Treat. It is a treat. And I tell people about our platelet donation. We have a platelet donation facility in Norfolk, and that's a little bit longer, and you can donate. Platelets only have a shelf life of 5 days.
Wow.
And very short. And the primary use for the platelets are for cancer patients. And the process takes a little bit longer. It's about 2 hours. And you can watch a movie. I mean, talk about, for me, it was like, a spa. They bring you cookies, you get a warm blanket. It's amazing. So again, if you're interested in platelet donation as well, you can call the 1-800-RED Cross. But, we just have lots of ways to do more good in the area.
Well, that's good. And thank you so much for coming, Kristen.
Thank you for having me.
I hope I'll see you again.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I hope I'll see some of you at the upcoming regular City Hall blood drives and anywhere else in Hampton or in the surrounding area. And again, you can check the Red Cross website for that. You just punch in your zip code, and they'll tell you where and when the upcoming blood drives are. So thank you.